Thank you for joining into the Rebelcast, a place where we approach to solve the riddle called life. Before I start, I have two things to say. First, let's try to reach this video to 100 likes. And second, I want to announce that I started a Patreon account, which I'll leave the link in the description box, where all your donations and support to this content will be accepted. I would really appreciate all your help in keeping this content alive. Today we will be discussing the mystery behind the sound and its relation to light. As we mentioned before in episode 8, how all particles interact with words we say, and then we breathe in that air that ignites photons, which is light, through the electron movement. Now what we need to emphasize on is the sound waves and their importance in our daily life and manifestation of the spirit. A lot of people concentrate on the aspect of light, yet they don't give the bigger attention to the great importance of sound around us. Some people greet others by love and light, but they miss the sound, which is the crucial wave that surrounds us every day. Why wouldn't they greet others saying light and sound, or love and sound? Even in some religions, they emphasize on God being the light of the world, but never mention He is the sound of the world. Is it because light can be projected from humans, unlike sound which humans can emit and might be good or evil? Can actually light be good or bad, same as sound? Well, if we contemplate in this, light actually can have a good side and a bad side. For example, if we bring a very bright light in the eyes of someone, it might blind them, which is bad. Same as sound, if we send a very high frequency into the ears of someone, they might become deaf. Or even if we say bad words to someone, it also will hurt them. This leads us that light and sound have good and bad side. So why we don't bring them on a common ground and see how important sound is in relation to our existence, same as light? In a more scientific term, there's a theory in physics called string theory, where it represents a model of an atom based on strings that vibrate. And when those strings vibrate, they produce sound that you can call the harmony of the atoms. And then a light is emitted. This shows us that there is a musical harmony playing inside of our body without us being aware. Not just sound, but also light, whom both store information inside us. It's literally like in our nature, we are a musical band trying to express itself through its fingerprint coded in the DNA. And as we know in alchemy, it's said as above, so below, which means the structure of musical atom, which is the within, will be projected to the above, which is the totality of our physical form and structure. And that is true. Contemplate in yourself for a moment. You emit sound while talking. You move your hands, and some people even get excited, so they start walking around while talking. This forms a beautiful musical band that is subconsciously singing, dancing, and performing cosmically. In addition to that, our atoms get affected by the kind of sound waves projected into them. If I say a bad word to someone, this not only affects their mood externally, but also on a microscopic level where atoms change their tune to a different type of a dance. Now, sound is connected to light in many ways. As we mentioned in episode 8, when we say words, the waves of the sound will fuse with the air particles, and then we will breathe in that air. Now, those atoms that will get inside of our body stores information, and that information is the words. Then once those air particles are inside of our brain, this information gets projected inside of our self. Once the electron emits light inside of us, and light is information, same as sound. So basically what you say or what others tell you can change your reality to better or worse. Depends on what state you keep your atoms at. Yes, light was emitted by the electron, but we should always keep in mind the importance of sound waves that we are emitting or receiving, because they too store information. Without sound, we won't be able to talk and organize the sound of letters linguistically to understand one another. This reminds me of a verse that I once read in the Bible. As it's been said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word, which is a depiction of organized linguistic sound waves, was at the beginning. This means that the harmonious, divine linguistic sound waves produced everything through its oscillation in the space-time fabric. And what we actually do is we project this oscillation from the above to the below, whom this word was with God, and then given to the humans to organize and systemize the world around them. And that sound wave was God, the creator. This also reminds me of divine words that Sufis or Hindus repeat, like the sound of Om, for example. It's considered to be healing to the heart. And those in actuality are the names of God. So the vibrational codes of those divine words have some sacred effect on the body and surrounding. And of course, this is all out of experience, whom I also practiced, and I felt the beautiful effect those sounds can bring to the heart. And as the word was God, means sound waves played a crucial role in bringing the consciousness of God to ourself. Also, as modern physics is theorizing that vibrational sound of the electron produces light. This means the consciousness of God that started with a word via sound waves will produce light. As also been mentioned in the Bible, in him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not. So, it's a transformation from words, which is sound, to light, photons, which is what happens when electrons emit photons inside of our body. As above, so below. And as it's also been mentioned in the Quran, God is the light of heaven and earth. Means God that started with the word transformed into light. That is a very detailed depiction of the alchemy behind the word of God, which is represented inside the atomic structure of all creation. Sound is not just important, it's in actuality the beginning of creation, that through it light and the rest of the elements are created in space. As Pythagoras, a 6th century BC philosopher and a magi that we discussed in episode 9, also believed in the music of heavenly bodies and believed that the planets are playing a harmonious music that became a humming in the background that only few can hear. And the ones who do will be able to unlock wonders of the universe, whom it's believed that Prophet Moses was capable of hearing the cosmic symphony, which allowed him to communicate with God. Pythagoras had a strong belief that this word was made up of music and numbers, which also confirms the theory I'm representing to you about the sound. He also believed that this planetary music is not chaotic, unlike it's in harmony, which reveals that God is in actuality playing a cosmic symphony on a micro and a macrocosmic level. In addition, Pythagoras was known for saying there is a geometry in the humming of the strings, there is music in the spacing of the spheres, thus linking the visual and the oral. He believed that if earthly objects such as strings or pieces of metal make sounds when put in motion, so too must the moon, the planets, the sun, and even the highest stars. As these heavenly objects are forever in motion, orbiting the earth, surely they must be forever producing sound. But it wasn't just Pythagoras. Also, a 17th century astronomer and mathematician, Johannes Kepler, remained convinced that the geometrical things have provided the Creator with a model for decorating the whole world. Drawing closely to Pythagoras' work, Kepler wrote a book called The Harmony of the Word, attempted to explain the proportions of the natural world, particularly in astronomical and astrological aspects in relation to music. And he gave every planet musical notes depending on their distance from each other. Also, NASA is believed to record the effect of planetary sounds emitted by every planet, as we can hear. Everything in this world has sound, as long as it has internal or external motion. And the fact that the whole world is in motion and never in static due to the continuous motion of the atoms, this means sound is being played all the time, whether consciously or subconsciously. As we mentioned, we humans are capable of emitting sound waves directly. But light is an indirect process produced by the sound waves that comes after. This shows how sound plays a direct role in our physicality. If you contemplate in this, we have the capability of closing our eyes, not allowing us to see externally. Yet, we can't close our ears naturally without an external agent. This means that God wants our audio sense to be always in tune with the surrounding of the cosmic symphony humming in the background, synonymous to breathing that was discussed in episode 8, as we are always in continuous manner of breathing. But does light actually have a sound? Metaphorically speaking, yes, it has. As we know, light is massless particle in physical terms, but in spiritual or abstract terms, light actually is information, and this information, once received, can be tuned into sound or words. So this means light can have a sound through us. The sound of light is the sound of truth that we seek. Same as sound, it also has a light. An example is when you hear a certain type of music that turns into a visual image in the head. This means you were able to see the sound you are hearing. Such a beautiful contemplation that we're able to alchemize, to be able to hear the sound of light and to see the light of sound. And if you're able to only see what light reveals or sound announces, means in truth you do not see or hear. From my own experience of playing music, I was able to achieve a wisdom that those sound waves are able to affect my physicality and others' being too, as of what others tell me of their experiences of hearing my music, which if you'd like to experience, you can find it out in this channel. They expressed for me how they feel literally the vibrations of the guitar going through their body, especially while performing live. They tell me how this music crosses the barrier of their body to reach the soul, which makes me really thankful to share this gift with others. This music comes from deep expression of mystical experiences and righteous acts that I practice in my life. Through those experiences, I was able to tune the atoms of my physical body to a certain level to be able to project it into sound waves via my guitar. Those waves are merely the communication of every atom inside of me, the literal projection of the symphony and dance of my existence. And as a person on a mystical path, righteousness played a huge role in my life, and I saw the effect of how I can turn my perspective and tune with the divine. That's why I call upon all of you to practice righteousness, as it is part of the word of the universal symphony of God, a righteous orchestra that God tunes the cosmos on it. To practice righteousness does not mean to always speak or act, as there is very deep and mysterious goodness in silence. Silence is truly the field of God's symphony, and there is too much of information stored in one moment of silence, same as the silence between every note on a musical instrument. Without that silence, the music will be in static, and silence is the mother of vibration. There is those who have truth in them, and yet never tell it in words. Those of whom the Spirit dwells in them in rhythmic silence and evolve their vessel into a righteous one. And what is more beautiful than silence is the breaking of silence by words that brings joy to the hearts of others. That is a divine transfer of sound waves into the heart of others, which ignites a light of joy in their existence. And don't abuse this beautiful, mysterious ability to emit sound waves out of you. Choose your words very wisely as they interact with every air particle around you. And to reach the level of the Spirit is when you tame those atomic structures to stay on a level that allows you to receive the Spirit, which is a level of consciousness that anyone can receive by practicing righteousness. And sound waves play an essential role for you to receive this level. Not just the sound you emit, but also the sound that you're most of the time in tune with. Some choose divine names of God, some choose divine sound, others choose divine words, and others might choose music to interact with their self and surrounding. And practice is the key. Yes, you can experience something once in your life and feel its divinity, but to receive the Spirit needs a practice of the experience, and the paths of Spirit are not limited to one specific type of practice. Every religion and spiritual school approach this pure essence in their own way. It's all up to your heart what it more becomes in tune with. But keep in mind the purity of the intention and the righteousness of the act as the key elements when you choose a path to receive the Spirit. And the symphony of God continues in approach to solve this mystery called life. This ancient symphony that you are being part of, starting from atomic microcosm to the bigger scale, which is your body, then to a more macrocosmic scale, which is the planets and the stars. This symphony that never stops playing keeps recording the space-time fabric and dances on the drama of peace and war, chaos and order. Truly, music is the secret of existence. Stay tuned for more. My name is Hassan, and you are listening to the Rebelcast. Before I go, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and activate notifications to stay tuned for more. Also, I would really appreciate your donations on Patreon, as that would push me forward to create more content for you. I'll leave the link in the description box. Thank you.